Hello and welcome to the Famous Computer Cafe. This is Andy Velkoff, and for the next 30 minutes we're going to be talking about personal computers. Today we have Kevin Blaker from Long Beach Micro, who's going to be talking about graphics and presentation graphics. We also have John Dvorak, who's going to be calling in from up in Berkeley, giving us, I think, some New Year's resolution for PC users. And of course, this week, the Famous Computer Cafe software giveaway is featuring Gene from Arctronics Corporation. Jane is one of the easiest to use integrated software packages on the market, giving the Apple II family of computers the ability to emulate many of the characteristics of its big brother, the Macintosh. So if you would like to win a copy of Jane, if you'd like to ask Kevin any questions that you have, particularly about presentation graphics, give us a call. If you've got a computer, you want to know what to do with it, in Los Angeles, 628 KIEV, San Fernando Valley, 989 KIEV, Glendale, Burbank, 956 KIEV, San Gabriel Valley, 443 KIEV, South Bay, 835 KIEV, Orange County, 714-739 KIEV, and West Los Angeles, 837 KIEV. We'll be right back after this message. The phone lines are open.
If Lotus had given you just one,
a spreadsheet that's up to 50 times faster than other spreadsheets, with every statistical and financial formula you'll ever need, and the largest workspace on the market.
That would have been enough. And if Lotus had given you just two,
information management, to store and organize information with the ability to cross-index over 2,000 records by 32 criteria, and use information from other programs and computer systems.
That would have been enough. And if Lotus had given you just three,
graphics, to graph information from your spreadsheet in less than 2 seconds, and change that information, touch a key, and graph the new results instantly. Graphics as a thinking tool.
That would have been enough.
But Lotus has given you more. Text editing, tutorials, a help key, and a host of features which give Lotus 123 its power and simplicity.
Lotus 123 is available at the Software Spot, 10977 Santa Monica Boulevard in West Los Angeles, or phone 213-477-7561. That's 213-477-7561.
The Software Spot, the oldest independently owned and operated software store in Los Angeles, a soft sell dealer.
Well, hi, we're back. This is Andy Velkoff, and I'm here at the News Corner in the Famous Computer Cafe. Let's see what looks good here. Well, apparently Radio Shack is releasing an improved version of its Model 100 briefcase portable computer. It's dubbed the Tandy 200, and it'll feature a 16-line by 40-character tilt-up liquid crystal display, faster scrolling up to 72K of RAM and 324K banks, improved cursor keys, copy, kill, memory bank function keys, and all sorts of things. The new computer won't be totally software compatible with the Model 100. Apparently, only basic programs from the Model 100 will function on the 200. ROM calls will be different. The computer will, however, work with Model 100 accessories. The Tandy 200 with 24K RAM will be priced at about $999. Additional memory modules, which will be user installable at a retail price of $249.95. So for all you Radio Shack fans, you want to look out for that. Let's see. Well, it's the Christmas season, and apparently Silicon Valley was not to be left out. They really put on a show this Christmas season. Apparently, companies ranging from Apple to Seek Technology really went out all the way. Seek Technology Inc. hired Ray Charles to perform at its gathering, while Apple threw a theme party with the guests dressed like characters from Dickens' A Christmas Carol. I wonder who was dressed as Scrooge. That's interesting. Advanced Micro Devices seems to have topped the list. It reportedly spent $700,000 on its black tie Christmas party for employees and stockholders. According to the Wall Street Journal, the entertainment included a 50-piece orchestra, a boys' choir, 50 pastry chefs, and the rock group Chicago, hired to perform for 10,000 guests. I guess things are doing well up in Silicon Valley. A Texas professor says as the world gets more deeply involved in high tech, historians will be needing more and more historians will be needed. That's easy for me to say. We're going to need more historians, folks, rather than engineers and computer experts. According to Dr. Henry Deathloff, head of Texas A&M's Department of History, we could get so narrow and so channelized a view of the world that unless society has a generalist, such as an historian who can interpret the high-tech world, we're going to be in trouble. Associated Press quoted a statement released this week by Texas A&M in which Deathloff said that as specialization of employees increases, companies are becoming increasingly inflexible and less responsive to market demands. And, quote, historians or other liberal arts graduates have the capacity for communication and the assimilation of knowledge that someone with a highly specialized and more technical education may not. Well, for all you hackers, you probably want to pull out your history books and read up a little bit on Western civilization. AT&T is moving aggressively into marketing its personal computers. Unicore and AT&T have announced a distribution agreement which names Unicore as a value-added systems distributor for the AT&T 3B computer family, which is based on the Unix system, and AT&T Personal Computer 6300. In a related story, we have a note that AT&T Information Systems announced agreements with 44 independent resellers to distribute AT&T PC 6300 personal computers and AT&T 3B computer family as part of AT&T's value-added reseller program. So I guess we're going to be seeing a lot more of AT&T in the future. Well, that's it for the news. Let's go to the phone and speak with John Dvorak. John, how you doing?
Pretty good, Andy. How you doing?
Just fine, just fine. So, New Year's is coming up. You got any resolutions for us?
Yeah, I got a bunch of resolutions, but I talked to you a little earlier, and I wanted to clear a few gossip lanes out first.
Okay.
And let the people out there know at least what's being rumored. First of all, apparently Apple's having a major reorganization of its divisions.
Mm-hmm.
And some people think that the Apple II group is going to take over again. And they may be giving them the go-ahead for the new 16-bit Apple II, which has been rumored, but nobody's ever seen a copy of it.
So what do you think that's going to mean for the overall company? I mean, are we looking at a lot more marketing of Apple II and a lot more in that direction rather than Macintosh?
Probably a little more balance. The Macintosh has been given an awful lot of emphasis, and I don't think it's paid off to a point, but I think the strength of the Apple II is such a strong piece of equipment in the market that I think the Apple people have decided that they, you don't leave with the girl that you didn't bring, kind of thing.
Yeah, I think, or it's you danced with the girl that brung you.
Yeah, that's right. I'm from Northern California, so I can't remember phrases like that.
I see. I see.
Anyway, the other thing that I've noticed up here is that the looks like IBM is going to start making their move on bringing out the smaller version of the PC, which I think everyone is calling the PC2. Basically, it's a PC that'll just be smaller, with same 2 disk drives and the same more or less configuration. Be the same. So some of the boards you'd have to stick in will be built in, like maybe the display.
Well, that's kind of interesting, John. I mean, considering that they've made tremendous strides with their PC Junior, almost resurrecting it from beyond, as it were. Do you think that there's a market for a smaller PC?
Well, I think they'll keep the basically, if you look at a PC, a loaded PC selling for maybe $1,700, is smaller footprint and everything, and then the PC Junior, which is pretty much loaded up with a color monitor and everything, they're selling those for around $900 or less if you really shop around. I think that keeps them in the range of about $500 to $1,000 between products. The XT, of course, will be the most exciting one as it comes down in price. I think we're seeing XTs now. You can probably pick up an XT for about $2,500, which is about what you'd have to pay for a hard disk a few years ago. I personally think buying an XT right now is a smart move.
You think it's a good investment?
Well, it's sure as a deal. I'm going to probably upgrade. I use a PC, and I think I'm going to upgrade to an XT now that the prices are low. I'll sell my PC to somebody else.
Well, we've got a number of computers, one of which is a PC, and maybe we should look at it.
I'll check it out.
Take your advice.
Anyway, resolutions. I just finished a column for the San Francisco Examiner, and I got some resolutions I think computer users should pay some attention to, because, we have nothing else to resolve, right? So I think I'll read off a few of them here for you. I think this year people should maybe decide to put labels on their floppy disks instead of scattering them all over the house. That's like a real good idea, it seems to me.
You'll change my entire modus operandi.
I'm sure it will. You should also maybe actually go through the trouble of backing up disks instead of just talking about doing it someday. That's not a bad idea. People should try and learn Symphony instead of watching the A-Team. I think maybe you should dust your computer once a week. You should possibly attempt to put a checking account on it. Stop apologizing for using a dot matrix printer. You need to learn subdirectories. Also, if you're a programmer, I've got some tips for you. Try to document the software code so other people can understand what it is you're trying to do. Finish a program for a change. Make an attempt to remove bugs from the finished program. Cut down on coffee. Change your clothes. Learn to say hello, how are you, and thank you. Something very difficult for programmers to do. And then try to introduce one new person today to the magic of software subroutines. And last, change the printer ribbon. These people, these are the little things that you have to. It may take a year to get this accomplished, but I think changing the printer ribbon might not be a bad idea.
I'll just say I just changed one, and it was probably a year overdue. Well, John, thanks very much. And listen, we'll see how many of these we can stick to.
I think you should work on them.
Maybe we could sort of place a little bet and see how many we last with for a couple of months.
Well, don't hope for too much.
Okay.
Thanks, Sandy.
You take care and have a happy New Year.
Same to you.
Take care.
Bye.
Well, hi, we're here at the famous Computer Cafe, and I'm sitting with Kevin Blaker. Kevin is from Long Beach Micro.
That's correct.
Kevin, welcome.
Thanks very much, Andy. It's a pleasure to be here today on the famous Computer Cafe.
Well, Kevin, we were talking about what you've referred to as presentation graphics.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to get into talking about it and find out, what kinds of things can you do with a computer? Because I know it's a real specialty at Long Beach Micro.
That is. It's true. We've really taken it into our real interest area to concentrate on this, what we call presentation graphics. And Andy, really what we mean by that is allowing a computer to assist you in making an effective presentation. As you know, or any of the speakers out there who talk in front of groups, whether they be investors, employees, customers, a board of directors perhaps, really needs to get a point across effectively. And good speakers use pictures, and that's really what we mean by presentation graphics, is helping your verbal message with a picture of some kind.
Well, but we're talking about not simply pictures, though, because we're really talking about utilizing digital technology, computer technology, in a way that it's one thing to use an overhead projector, and it's one thing to use a chalkboard, and I guess we could go as far back as sticks and stones, writings on the sides of caves. But computers really allow us to do things that we never could do before. Isn't that really true?
That really is, and this whole presentation graphics area has kind of been born from the spreadsheet, which a couple of years ago really brought the microcomputer into the forefront of this so-called computer revolution. And at the point where we are now, where many people have their IBM PCs, their Apple IIs, their DEC Rainbows, that are using them for spreadsheet purposes, are creating for themselves a tremendous backlog of printed data. Now, it seems to be that the task at hand is to get this data organized in such a way, with a pie chart, a bar graph, a line graph of some type, that will allow people to quickly absorb the numbers and the results that the spreadsheet has so effectively given us.
Wow. Okay. Well, listen, when we come back, I want to get into some of the uses. I know you could use it for all sorts of things. And I want to encourage all you folks out there to call in, ask Kevin a question, put him on the hot seat a little bit, find out what you could do with your computer, and maybe you need some graphics, or maybe you don't, but here's the chance to find out. In Los Angeles, 628 KIEV, San Fernando Valley, 989 KIEV, Glendale, Burbank, 956 KIEV, San Gabriel Valley, 443 KIEV, South Bay, 835 KIEV, Orange County, 714-739 KIEV, West LA, 837 KIEV. We'll be right back after this.
Bank Street Writer by Broderbund is the one-word processing program that is unpretentious enough to be used at home by both children and adults, yet is sophisticated enough to meet most small business needs, too. Bank Street Writer is packed with powerful features that have made it the most popular home word processing program in the world. There are no complex codes to memorize. Directions are at the top of the screen every step of the way. Bank Street Writer gives you sophisticated features like automatic word wrap, universal search and replace, automatic centering, and easy storage and retrieval of anything you write, complete with password protection. Bank Street Writer also comes complete with a special tutorial on the back of the disc that teaches the basics of word processing. A comprehensive reference manual and free backup disc are also included. Want to try your hand at Bank Street Writer? Then follow your feet down to Strictly Software at 14617 Prairie Avenue in Lawndale. Or you can call 213-970-1242. Strictly Software, a soft sell dealer.
Oh, I like that song. That's great. We're at the famous Computer Cafe, and I'm talking with Kevin Blaker. Kevin, tell us a little bit about some of the applications.
Well, in terms of the presentation graphics business that we're involved with, a lot of people already are using the famous Lotus 123 or the Lotus Symphony product, which will allow us to instantly get graphs of data in our spreadsheet. Well, there are a number of other products which will take that a step further. For example, with Lotus, the instantaneous results that you get by pressing a button saying graph is wonderful. But if you were to put that picture from your screen onto, say, a slide or an overhead, it might not show up very well in front of a full room of people. And this is where a product such as Graph Writer or Chartmaster or Color Magic will really take over and take that data, allow you to manipulate the size of the headline so that it's visible to a room full of people, allow you to change the background colors and the fonts. For example, by fonts I mean, are you going to use an italic or a Roman type style to present to your audience? And these are a couple of the titles of software that we're using to create these.
So we're really talking about effectiveness in communication and making an impact.
That's right.
You know, it's not, I mean, people when they hear about computers and presentation graphics, they may go to a whole, oh man, you know, is this technical, is this ROM, is this K, is this all sorts of very technical, integral stuff. But really we're talking about how to impress people with what they see.
That's correct, and we find that the interest really transcends many different industries. The medical industry is very, very intrigued with this ability that a computer can create slides and prints for presentation. We find that in the research community of in the educational sector, very, very big, and then of course with private industry as well.
Wow. Oh, well, we're going to take a couple of calls right here. Hi, you're on the line at the famous Computer Cafe. Who are we speaking with?
Hi, I'm Farley, and I just had a real quick question. Some time ago I heard you mentioning software, and I'm interested in a property management program that can run on the IBM PC. And I heard you speak about a company that was like a library where you could kind of go and look at the different software to get a feel if this is the kind of software that you really want. And I didn't get the name of the company.
Okay, was this something we mentioned today, or maybe?
No, this was something that could have been maybe 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Well, there are a couple of ways you can go, and Kevin, you may want to add something to this. First thing, of course, is you may want to go to some users groups, and if you belong to one, often they'll have a lot of different software available. And users groups, we mention them from time to time here at the famous Computer Cafe. You might want to go into one of your retailers and say, I've got an Apple computer or a Commodore computer or an IBM computer. Where's the local users groups? And those are folks who get together and share common interests, and they will have a library of software. Another avenue is going into a retailer and saying, here's my thing. I'd like to know about this or about that. Remember, and retailers can be very helpful. Some more helpful, some less helpful, depending. There are good ones and there are not so good ones. Kevin, you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think in addition to your suggestions already, I would suggest perhaps if you belong to an association of property managers or some sort of industry association, oftentimes those associations will have a monthly newsletter or quarterly newsletter for their memberships. And very often you'll find that more recently these magazines are going in and evaluating certain packages that apply to their membership. And I'm sure there must be some sort of a property owners association that has a magazine that maybe has reviewed some of these softwares for you.
Okay.
Oh, well, thanks very much, Farley.
Okay, well, thank you now.
Okay. Let's take another call. You're on the line at the famous Computer Cafe.
Yes, I was wondering if there was a way to take a photograph of the screen rather than making slides out of usually what they use plotters.
Okay, who are we speaking with?
David?
David?
Right.
Okay, so you're talking about a photograph directly from the screen?
Right.
Well, David, there's a brand new product from the Kodak Corporation, a name that's familiar to all of us that have ever owned a camera. Kodak now has what they call the CAT slide system, which is actually an instant slide camera, and I'll explain that instant here in a second. An instant slide camera which mounts directly to the screen, and it comes in sizes of 9 inches, 12 inches, 15, 17, and 19-inch hoods. And what you need to do to operate this, it's a very simple process. Simply bring the picture or the graph or whatever it is that you want to photograph, bring that onto your screen, apply this hood to the screen,
Right.
and snap the picture.
I see.
And then all of a sudden out will come what looks like about a 3x5 negative.
Oh,
It takes about 12 minutes for it to fully develop. You peel off the backing after the 12-minute period has elapsed and put it into an instant slide mounter. Punch down the little handle, and bravo, you've got yourself a slide.
is the quality better usually than the plotters?
Better than a plotter, you say?
You
What-
can make a slide out of a plot, and versus this picture you take with the Kodak instrument you mentioned, do you think the quality is better?
Well, the quality will be equal to the resolution or the density of dots on your screen. What kind of computer do you have?
IBM
Okay, IBM PC with a color monitor?
color monitor.
All right. The lines of resolution that you have on that monitor, I believe, and you can correct me, I think there's 480 lines, which means there's 479 spaces between the lines. And the Kodak system will photograph it just as you see it on the screen. There is another way, however, to get a slide off of the same system. We also happen to carry a product from Polaroid known as the Palette, which interfaces through a serial, the same type of a connector as your printer is hooked up to.
Oh, I see.
And that system will roughly double the resolution of that you see on your screen. And it does this in a very special way. Instead of taking one solid picture, it takes two pictures, the second of which is a little bit offset from the first, and thus it will give you a solid backfill.
I see. Okay, thank you very much.
David, thank you very much. We're going to take a break right now. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about printers and plotters and graphics.
SuperCalc 3 by Sourcem is a spreadsheet that's extremely easy to use, swift, and powerful, and it's priced lower than most other leading spreadsheet programs. SuperCalc 3 has all the built-in functions expected in a high-quality spreadsheet, and a lot more. SuperCalc 3's features include an on-screen help function, spreadsheet consolidation and sorting capabilities, calendar and date calculations, simple data management, functions, and windowing. The integrated graphics capability is superbly presented, allowing plotting and printing of charts in up to 99 colors. SuperCalc 3 provides you with the ability to create pie charts, bar charts, line charts, and XY graphs. The graphics are integrated into the command structure, so once you learn SuperCalc 3, plotting and graphing the results of your calculations is as easy as pie. To get a taste of the simplicity and power of SuperCalc 3, walk into Simply Software, where they'd love to whip up a quick demonstration. Simply Software is located at 3001 Sepulveda Boulevard in Manhattan Beach, or call 213-546-2467. That's 213-546-2467. Simply Software, a soft sell dealer.
Well, we're back here at the famous Computer Cafe. This is Andy Velkoff, and we're sitting and talking with Kevin Blaker from Long Beach Micro. Kevin, presentation graphics, actually graphics in general, what's the future? I mean, we've come a long way since Gutenberg and the press.
That's for sure.
And, we're talking about Polaroid and taking pictures right off the screen. I mean, this is pretty impressive technology. What are we looking at in a couple of years from now?
Well, To be sure, Andy, we have really gone a long way since the days of the original spreadsheet VisaCalc. At this point, we see the ability for a very small cost, anywhere from $400 to around $2,000, to add this presentation graphics capability to a personal computer. I believe that the future is going to see prices tumble even more, and I think that the ability to make quick changes, to draw freeform, and to do what we call batch processing of slides, prints, pictures, screen images, to occur much faster. And when I say batch processing, I mean you'll prepare yourself 10 or 15 pictures that you need to create slides from, press one button and walk out the door, and in an hour later, or whenever, however long it takes to occur, all of your processing is complete. And I see that this happening just in a very short time. Hewlett-Packard, for example, has come out with a plotter which has 8 pens available at any one time and will automatically feed the paper from one picture to the next, so you don't even have to be there to change it.
Wow, that's incredible. I'd like to take one more call, and then we have a couple of things to wrap up. I know that there are a lot of people out there who have a very specialized need for graphics. I mean, it's not for everybody necessarily, and I know you guys sort of specialize in that. Mm-hmm. If people want to get a hold of you, how would they go about doing it?
Well, they can call us at Long Beach Micro during our office hours, 10 a.m. till 6, Monday through Friday.
What's the phone number?
213-435-3006.
Okay, great. You'll let us know if you get any business.
You bet.
Okay, let's take a call here. Hi, you're at the Famous Computer Cafe, and you're on the line.
My name is Joe. Just simply for using the PC-DOS system and the dot matrix printer, what's the name of a couple of programs that will run these so-called banner-like things?
Are you referring to creating a, for example, happy birthday type banner?
Yes.
Right, that's 8 or so feet long?
More or less, yeah. What's a couple of programs that will run this?
To be quite honest, I am not familiar with anything that does that. I have seen ads that will... you send in a couple of dollars and your message and we'll send you back the printout, but I'm not sure what program they're really using.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks very much. Okay, well, we've come to the end of another show. We'll be back to kind of wrap things up, but Kevin, I want to thank you for joining us. It's been a real pleasure. And
it's been my pleasure.
I'd like to invite you back, and as things develop and as new things come out in the market, we'd love to hear about them.
We'd be glad to do that.
Okay,
Thanks,
we're going to take a break. We'll be right back after this.
SuperCalc 3 by Sourcem is a spreadsheet that's extremely easy to use, swift, and powerful, and it's priced lower than most other leading spreadsheet programs. SuperCalc 3 has all the built-in functions expected in a high-quality spreadsheet, and a lot more.
Start with the world's best-selling database system. Give it enhanced features to make it faster, more powerful, and easier to use, and you have the makings of a software heavyweight. DBase 3, Ashton Tate's hot new package for your 16-bit PC. With DBase 3, you can create records with up to 128 fields, access 10 files at once, and run other programs like communications or word processing without leaving DBase 3. You can read non-DBase files from other software programs or mainframe databases. And you can easily convert your DBase 2 files and programs to DBase 3. If you get stuck, help is at your fingertips with multiple help screens. And where do you go to see this powerful new program? Go see David and Betty Sun at Sun Computers in the city of Carson. They'll tell you what you need to know about DBase 3 and more. Sun Computers is located at 20925 South Bonita in Carson. Or call 213-538-8338. That's 213-538-8338. Sun Computers in Carson, a soft cell dealer.
Okay, on that last call, Joe, I think you were probably talking about the print shop from Brotherbund. Brotherbund makes something called the print shop. It'll print banners. You might want to check it out at your local retailer. Our winner for today's Computer Cafe giveaway is David Lynn from Pasadena. And David, you've won a copy of Jane Integrated Software, and we're going to be sending that to you in the mail. Tomorrow's guest, Cynthia Mason of Selden & Company, talking about everything from computers in the schools to women in high tech. From all of us here at the Famous Computer Cafe, we'd like to thank you for joining us. This is Andy Velkoff, and we'll see you again right here tomorrow. Take care.